Femme House Fam, what's happening? Happy New Year. It is Her Mix a Lot, your executive director and co-founder. I am here with Honey. Honey is straight out of Pittsburgh, creating one of the most beautiful scenes that I think is emerging right now in dance music, specifically for queer Black people. Honey, what's happening?
How you doing, Lo? Her mix a lot. I love that.
I'm doing well, babe. How's your new year shaking out?
Um, it's been tough year so far. The past 2 weeks have been a little tough. Just dealing with loss in my family, but feeling really grateful to be with my family right now. I'm actually from New York. I moved to Pittsburgh almost 10 years ago. So, although it's like a time of mourning, I'm really glad to be here with my family and my mom and my community.
I'm sorry to hear about your loss. We're keeping you close and you're in our thoughts. I'm sure all of our listeners and the community is holding you close as well. Um, from loss, in my experience, comes oftentimes, especially with creatives, right? Like great, like rebirth. And so I'm looking forward to you experiencing that as the year moves further along and you get a little further from the loss and a little closer to what can be born from it. So I'm wishing that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
For sure, for sure. Switching gears, which feels crazy after having like such a heart to heart already, but you're a DJ, you're an event curator. I think, in my opinion, you're a community activist. Tell me about the scene that you're building in Pittsburgh, and tell me what brought you from New York to Pittsburgh, and how sort of like you've seen the last 10 years in Pittsburgh build toward what like the work that you do.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Okay, come on. Hard-hitting three-part question right off the bat.
I'm on my Oprah. I'm on my Oprah, you know.
Woo! So let's see. Yeah, I actually originally moved. I mean, there was a few reasons. My mother was born in Pittsburgh and moved back here when I was in college, and just kept putting a bug in my ear through the years, particularly as New York just started getting like ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's always been
Sure.
expensive, but it was getting crazy. I mean, it's crazier now, but even 10 years ago, just the expense and then being a parent and I just needed something else. I just needed something new. I figured I'd come here for a couple years, spend some time with my mom and my aunts and uncles and cousins, and then either go back to New York or just find somewhere else. But I'm stayed because so when I first came here, the thing about Pittsburgh is it's definitely not like a bigger city where you can wander a little bit and find
Mm-hmm.
music events or maybe, stumble into your community. Here, you kind of have to know people.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a couple years of being here, maybe a year and a half, 2 years before I could find the queer people. Like I found the
Mm-hmm.
black people because my family
Sure.
black. So I found them. My cousins would like take me to different spots and everything. And I kept thinking to myself like, okay, I found like the black folk. We love that. But like, okay, now where are the queer people? So then I found the queer people and I was like, okay, where's the black queer people?
You were like,
You know? And there was really no centralized event or event producer or booker or curator who was doing that on a regular basis. Like there were definitely events that were happening, but it just seemed like there wasn't really anything like Black queer woman led here. And I thought to myself, like, if there's already somebody doing this, with my experience in like creative work and marketing and music in general, like I worked for BET, I worked for Vibe magazine back in the day. I figured that I could just join them and say, hey, I have like a lot of talents. I want to help y'all in any way I can. But there kind of just wasn't anything. So I started it. And it used to be called Darkness is Spreading, which is a, a Chappelle show joke. And even before Dave Chappelle
darkness.
became a trash human, it was actually during the pandemic. We were doing a lot of live streaming and, still trying to reach out to the Black queer community here and beyond. and say like, I know we all stuck in the house right now, but we're gonna do 2 hours of DJing right here on the internet. And I decided to change it from Darkness is Spreading to Most Beautifulest, which is the name of my collective now. And it's just it's been tough in a lot of ways because again, Pittsburgh, there's definitely more black people here than I think people would imagine.
Sure.
Particularly the big college town. A lot of people stay after college, but it's been work over the past 6 years of Most Beautifulest, just even convincing venues to give us space that,
Mm.
we can make the money because the bottom line is always going to be financial, of course, like capitalist society. But it's been really rewarding. Um, I wasn't a DJ when I moved from New York. I knew everybody I knew was a DJ, but I wasn't myself not DJing at that time. I was working in music, but not actually on the decks. And it's just kind of, I'm like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing with my life. That's really how I feel. So while I do have complaints about Pittsburgh for sure, I don't think I would have found like my calling, like my life's
Mm.
calling if I wasn't here in the form of DJing, creating community and doing everything I can to for access in the nightlife industry here in the city and beyond. I think I
So tell
answered
me,
that
like,
right.
you answered it perfectly. And there's actually like there could be 15 spin-off questions. So I'm actually trying to keep myself focused right now. Tell me about I think that the most interesting thing that I took from your answer right now is sort of a common thread when I'm hosting these shows, right? I'm talking to black people, I'm talking to queer people. Generally the marginalized, right, tend to create the things that they really need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that brings
Absolutely.
other people along. That's how seeds of community are planted. Talk to me about the seed of community that you planted and how, now all of a sudden you're a DJ. You weren't a DJ and then you moved to Pittsburgh and it's just like, well, shit, I guess I'm a DJ now.
Right.
Tell me about
So,
those conversations that you're having with
it
yourself and
started
with your
out, I
community.
actually, even back in New York, like again, like I mean, you can't really exist in New York and go out at all and not know like 20 DJs.
Sure.
But again, working in music and everything, it's just everybody I knew was either in music or a rapper or a music producer. Like everybody I know is involved in music in some way. And I wanted to learn, but number one, it just looked really hard. And I already was like doing like web development work. I was doing like art direction. I was just like, I don't think I have time to learn how to do this. And I also felt like my friends would be like, girl, like, girl, like everybody doesn't need to be a damn DJ. So I was just kind of like reluctant to even ask somebody to show me the ropes. But when I moved here, I definitely started event producing first and throwing parties out here. Like I'm definitely a party girl. Like that is one thing that has never changed about me. But we had an Ace Hotel here in Pittsburgh. It actually closed during the pandemic and never opened again. RIP Ace Hotel Pittsburgh.
Hmm.
And I started throwing events there first because like in Ace Hotel in New York, I was used to like lobby parties. So when they opened it up in here, I probably went maybe less than a month after they opened, and I met the person that was in charge of events out there. His name is Aaron Clark. He runs a club called Hot Mass out here. His crew is called HUNY XO, and I said, "Hey, I wanna do a lobby party." And he said, okay. And so I had the first lobby party at Ace Hotel Pittsburgh. And as I started inviting DJs here, I started looking for women DJs in particular because all the lineups were always all men. It was like all men and like one woman DJ, who is usually
Hmm.
DJ Femme, who's a really good friend of mine.
Hmm.
Still work with her to this day. This is like 2016, 17. And I just through just hiring them and like looking like what like all right, what are you doing over here? And then I found myself with actually a deck. um my friend, someone actually spilled a drink on her deck. This is actually Femi as well. Shout out to DJ Femi here in Pittsburgh. Someone spilled a drink on her deck. I convinced Ace Hotel Pittsburgh that they should pay for it. I don't know how I did that. Usually venues are like, nah.
They're
But
like
I
the
was like,
hazards of the job, huh?
yeah, like it was damaged because of like the people y'all brought in here to listen to her. So they put
Right.
it literally in a bag of rice in the basement of this hotel for months. Bought her another one. So when I finally said the quiet part out loud, like, I want to learn to DJ, they pulled it out of the basement, out of this bag of rice, and it worked. So I literally learned to DJ on that deck. And I just, again, it was like low pressure. The reason my DJ name is also Honey is because I didn't feel comfortable giving myself a DJ name because I was like, my friends are
Mhm.
going to clown me. So I was like, I'm not a DJ. I'm a selector. I'm gonna play music for y'all at this in this hotel lobby. I'm not a DJ. But my taste in music is mwah. So like, just come and listen to music with me. And I probably like worded it like that for like 6 months. And I was like, all right, y'all, I'm a DJ. Like it's
Couldn't
real
fight
now.
it.
Like, I'm a DJ now. My DJ name is still Honey. I added the XO like a year and change ago, but dang, what was your question? See, I'm gonna do this a lot.
That's okay. We having a conversation. It
Oh,
happens.
cultivating community. So yeah, I just think it was a kind of a if you build it, they will slowly trickle in sort
Mhm.
of thing because I had an audience. I've had an audience for a while just because of my work in music in general. But it took a while to get the word out like, hey, I'm a black queer woman. I was first and foremost where like like where are the black lesbians? Like, come on, like let's like have a movement here because there's again nothing really for black queer people, but definitely black lesbians. Like we love to, well, they, not me, they love to sit on a couch. They find them a girl. They're not going nowhere ever. And then just establishing that my events were always going to be a safe space. I think a lot of people use those words, but it was like very important to me that the Afropunk theory of like no homophobia, no transphobia, no body shaming, like when we're not doing no Islamophobia, like we're not doing none of that at my
Mhm.
events. And it took a while, but they slowly trickled in and they're still trickling in right now.
Speaking of black lesbians, tell me about your new residency.
Yay! Okay, I'm really excited about it actually. There's a new queer venue here in Pittsburgh called the Underground. It's actually built inside the oldest LGBTQ plus bar in the whole city. It's called
Oh wow.
Brewers. And they have two floors underneath the main floor, and they built out. It's actually really beautiful. It sounds great in there. I started a residency in January called Scissor. SZR, SZR. And it's free, which also is
It's
helpful.
free. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really have a lot of free events because again, I have to pay myself, I have to pay my talent, but the venue gives us a set amount. And yeah, it's for lesbians. And there's not a lot of things in the city for lesbians, and the things that are for lesbians specifically, they're not on Friday and Saturday. They're on
Right.
Sunday, they're on Thursday, because the gay boys want Friday and Saturday. So
When
everybody's really excited that we packed it this past Saturday. It was like literally packed in there, all three floors. I'm really excited to keep
when
that
we
movement
when we
going.
gonna get that when we gonna get that scissor party in LA, California or Oakland, California?
Okay, so boom. One of my friends who actually is in LA. I love LA, by the way. I was actually planning to move to LA this year, but with my aunt passing, I think I'm going to stick around a little longer and be there for my mama. But I love LA. It's one of my favorite cities. Someone already reached out to me about doing it in LA. Someone reached out to me about doing it in Philly as well. So if I can tour this thing, I definitely will. Like, I'm very excited to get that popping in 2024 because I'm realizing, I mean, I already knew this, but it's just like a realization that keeps happening that this is kind of an issue all over the country, actually.
It
These
is. Yeah.
lesbian specific sapphic spaces are either just not happening anymore or they never got started there. There's no really, there's like a handful of lesbian bars even left in the whole country. So I intend to deliver on that. Maybe find
I'll
me
be
a wife while I'm
I'll
doing
be
it.
there. I know that's right. I'll be there for that. I'll be there for all those things.
Awesome.
What can you tell me? I think uh, everything about you, I think, is like very, very cool.
Thank you.
But I'm really moved by sort of what I view as your community activism. What can you tell me about that? And like, what was the path to doing things like co-founding the Queer Fam Fund at Honcho? And tell me all about this work that, to me, like, you speak about your event production and your DJing and all these things, but to me, they all sort of roll up into this ultimate goal, right? To like build authentic community and safe spaces. So tell me how that came about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I again met Aaron Clark in 2015 at Ace Hotel, and he told me number one that he had a club here called Hot Mass that opened at midnight. Now again, I'm from New York, so it was like not crazy. That's my son. It's not
Hmm.
crazy to me that to have an afters, but he told me it opened at midnight and closed at 7 a.m. I was like, I don't know about like I'm a parent. Like I don't know. I need my sleep. But he also mentioned that they had a yearly festival. At that time they had it at some campground that you had to be a man to even like go. And they eventually, I think a couple years after I met him, they decided to move the location entirely so that the community they cultivated at this festival could better reflect the community that they have here at home in Pittsburgh. But I still had to ask, like, is it gonna be mostly like white boys? And they
Yeah,
were like,
a fair
honestly, yeah.
question. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not trying to be in the forest with a bunch of white boys. Like, no shade, but that is just not, just no. Like, that sounds like a horror movie. Number one, number like it's just, it's not my vibe. Like, if I'm gonna go to something like that, I want to see like my people with me. So we just started discussing how that could happen. And what I mentioned, number one, is like there's a money issue. Like a lot of black people, a lot of trans people don't have the expendable income to take off for a week and go to the woods to dance. Like we can't rave
Right.
in the woods, babe. Like we just can't afford it. Even if we can afford the ticket itself, we can't take off work. I know a lot of black people will camp, just like a lot of black people swim, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, for sure. It's a
niggas
lot
don't
of it's a
always
lot
just
of
be like, we're
cultural
gonna go
barriers
swimming,
straight away.
Yeah, I'm like, to wrap people's mind around that, they have to know that people is gonna be there. So, I worked directly with Clark Price, who's also a member of Honcho. He named it Queer Fam Fund, and we just started working together since 2018 to build this fundraising initiative that would extend this free camp out experience to people of color and trans and non-binary people. Like it's completely free. The ticket is free. We also, if you opt to have us provide a tent and sleeping bags and all that, we do that. The meal plan, drinks, like we put money on their card for the whole weekend to just like you don't have no problems when you come here. You don't have to do this yourself. You don't have to think about it. Like the only thing you do have to take off work. But besides that, like we got you. And my first camp out was actually 2019, the second year that QFF was in operation. And to see the difference of that festival in these past few years, like it's the most, I think, immediate um product of my heart and my work that I like, the most direct evidence that something I really care about and put like my like literally 8 months of my year into works, and it works quickly and it works well. Like I get really emotional about it because it is one of the most like incredible experiences that I have every single year. To just I feel more comfortable with my body, like as just even as a plus size person, like because we be like, you be kind of like naked. It's hot in the forest. White gay boys love to be naked or have like a little harness on. And
Yes, I do
I
now.
feel truly appreciated. I feel loved. I feel like enveloped in my community of queer people there. It's literally like a utopia. I never thought I would use that word for anything that honestly a bunch of white boys built.
Hey,
But it's a beautiful experience. It's literally like so black now because of QFF. Because even black people that, there are black people that say, I actually can afford to come to this. I'm not going to apply. But when I see these pictures, I'm also a photographer at Camp Out. And they're like, when I see the photos and the videos of this event, that made me want to go. So QFF brings more diversity to this festival, not only through the work that we do itself with providing like, all the accommodations, but people seeing it and being like, okay, I could feel really comfortable there. I've met literally some of the people I'm closest to in this world at Camp Out, and I still want more lesbians there though.
no, yeah, you're right, because like we were talking earlier about what makes a safe space, and people like to throw the terminology around, but like one of the first and easiest ways to create a safe space, right, is to like, if I'm looking at pictures and video, yeah, shit, and I don't see anybody that look like me, that doesn't feel very safe. Like that's
That
part of the
part.
ongoing work. Like
That
when
part.
people sort of like overcomplicate, we've like named it all these terms like DEI and all this stuff, and it's just like it's not complicated, bro. Make it so that everybody feels welcome, and how you do that is that you represent them usually visually. Um,
Exactly. And on the
it's
lineup, they
on the
definitely,
lineups.
now that there's more, black people, trans and non-binary people going, it really just there's more Asian people, more Latino people going. That is reflecting directly in the lineup too. And I gotta give Honcho some credit for that because they're like they've come to me and been like, okay, what do y'all what do y'all want to hear? And I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
and that's
here's
important, right?
another
Like
word, yeah.
that's what makes when you get intentional about diversity, true diversity,
Hmm.
there's a domino effect, right? Like, and
Absolutely.
it gets easier and easier. It's just like the first step is usually the hardest, or that's what they would lead us to believe. I
That's
don't
what
believe
they
that's
led us to
true, but
believe. Yeah. Yeah, it's
um,
actually not hard at all, but it definitely you have to care.
you
Like
have to
that's what
care
I'm
and
like.
you have to be intentional. You have to be thoughtful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell the folks what to expect from your mix.
Okay. So it's very
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I want to read this part of your bio that I just think is like T. Honey XO sets are genre defying house, techno, ballroom beats, dance hall, hip hop. Anything with a nasty beat and embedded in blackness can get it.
period.
Period.
Yeah, that sums up my mix. It's very cunt. That's my goal. That's my first goal all the time is to be cunt as fuck.
That's
It's very
perfect.
black.
It's like we need to start the year off with some cuntiness.
Absolutely. It's it's not all over the place genre wise. I kind of reeled it in a little bit, but there's hip hop in there. There's definitely some techno in there. There's house, and definitely some ballroom. You're gonna hear some Vogue
Perfect.
crashes, all that. Yeah, I love this mix.
Fantastic.
I put it together really fast. Again, this year thus far has been crazy, but I'm really excited for everybody to hear it.
We're really excited to listen. Tell the folks where to find you moving forward. Where you gonna be at? What you about to be doing?
Okay, so boom. Number one, I'll actually be in Mexico next month. I'm playing a festival called Somos. It is February 8th. Let me see if I can do this. It's February 8th through the 12th in Puerto Vallarta. This is the third year I'm going, the second year I'm DJing it. It's amazing. It's kind of like camp, but it's a much smaller festival. It's very intimate. And it's in Mexico. It's on the beach. So I'm
Mm,
super excited about that. Last year it actually happened over my birthday, so I spent my birthday on the beach with my friends in Mexico. This year they moved it up a week. So the next weekend, February 16th through 18th, I'll be playing Bajidora, which is a festival in Morelos, Mexico, which is much big. It's the biggest thing I've ever played. Like I could potentially be playing in front of like 15, 16, 17,000 people. I
Wow.
can't even really wrap my mind around that, but that's thanks to Port Detroit, who is a crew out of Mexico. They invited me to play with them, and I can't even, that don't even seem real, honestly, because Somos was my first international festival last year, and I'm playing it again this year, and this other one. Like, that is just cut. It's just cut. It's just a cut. February is about to be cut, and then my birthday will sort of like be the bookend to that experience.
What are you, an
Scissor.
Aquarius?
I'm an Aquarius, yeah.
It's
Period.
giving. Period.
It's giving Aquarius. Scorpio moon, you know.
Also very much giving.
But and then yeah, Scissor is at the Underground every second Saturday, except February. It'll be February 24th because I'll be in Mexico. On the
That's
second
what's up.
Saturday, I have a hip hop party called Real Hot Girl Shit every first Saturday at a venue out here called Cobra. That's all female MCs. That's Nicki, Megan, Doja, Lotto. Like it's no dudes. It's all female MCs because I love hip hop. But I don't want to hear dudes rap about bitches anymore. So that's every first Saturday. Um, I'm really looking forward to Pride. It's my favorite holiday. As a queer
Same.
person, I'll hopefully be not only here in Pittsburgh, but in LA as well. Again, I played LA Pride last year. And then in August, be back at Camp Out. And ideally, we're about to start planning Camp Out. I curated 2 nights at Camp Out in 2023. We did a ball for the first time. We had a ball in the
Tight.
woods. We're going to do that again. And yeah, catch me on Instagram, Honey Rocks, HUNYROCKS. And SoundCloud is the same name. And I'm not joining no more social profiles. I'm not on Threads. I'm not on TikTok. I don't have the attention for that.
You're at capacity, right, with the social
Yeah.
media. I feel like my quota has was reached like 3.5 years ago.
Yeah, I literally can't.
This is a final question that I like to ask everybody interesting that I speak with. If you were sitting down with your younger self today on January 16th, 2024, as your current self, what do you say to that girl?
Oh my goodness. Come on, Oprah. Oh, that's about to make me cry. Number one, I would tell myself, you are not bisexual, you're a lesbian.
Important information. A good time
Shout
to
out to
say
the
more.
bisexuals though. Nothing against bisexuals, but it just took me a while. It took me a long time to realize that I just like dudes as friends. Like, no, you don't love them like that. They're your homies. You like girls more. You like girls only. So you're not bi, you're a lesbian. That's not even the most important thing. That's just the first thing that came. Because we just was talking about scissor. I would definitely tell myself, like, you are going to find your place. Because I
Mm,
spent a lot of my younger years, a lot of my 20s in particular, just knowing, like, making good money, but not, I just didn't find a lot of fulfillment in my work in
mm,
general. I didn't think that it was something that I could leave as a legacy. I didn't feel like it was my calling. So I
mm,
would tell myself like take your time because all of the things you are doing right now are going to feed your real passion. Like I'm very happy that I spent all those years in web development and web design. So it's very easy for me to make a web presence for the things that I want to promote. It's very easy for me to make my own flyers because I spent all those years doing graphic design for other people.
mhm.
And then I would just tell myself like have some patience with Pittsburgh. It's it's gonna give you exactly what you need.
Wise
Yeah.
words from the great Honey XO.
Thank
It's been an
you.
absolute joy to share space with you. Thank you for everything you're doing for the culture, for the community, to push
You
things
too.
forward.
Thank you. This was an honor that y'all reached out to me. I'm really floored by this. This is crazy. Thank you so much.
Um, yeah, we support you. Everything that you do, you ever need us, you give us a shout. Femme House fam, this has been Honey XO. You're not gonna find nothing better, so just listen to the mix. Try to record it or something. It'll be on SoundCloud. YouTube, all that, and listen to it over and over, especially when you need to feel cut. I'm Her Mix a Lot. It is Past the Mic edition, Femme House Radio. Love to you all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We'll see you soon, baby.
Yer.
Yeah.